To my students, welcome to my channel and welcome to my today's topic. Today our topic is decision making and looping in QBasic. Okay, so before going into the lesson, we'll learn about the basic concepts about programming with QBasic. So in the lower classes already we have learned that whenever we need to do anything in our computer, we have to give the instruction to a computer. So for that you have to write the computer programs. So basically you know that what is computer program. Okay, so we know computer program is a set of instructions that makes a computer work. Okay, it is written in a computer programming language. Okay, and already we know different type of programming languages like basic, C, C++, Java and so on. Now who writes the program, this type of programs is known as the programmer. So a programmer writes a program, that is computer program, to get work done from a computer before writing a program. Okay, got it? So a computer understands machine language, already we know, and we know machine language means uses the machine code, consists of 0 and 1. So it is difficult to write programs using 0 and 1. So a programmer writes a program in a high level language that uses English language. Okay, or you can say that English words. So to make the computer understand this, you require a translator that translates a program written in a high level language into machine language. So here you will have the two terms, one is compiler, another one is interpreter. One is compiler, COMPILERS, one is compilers, and another one is interpreters. So that is interpreters. Okay, interpreters. Okay, so compilers and interpreters are the different types of translators that can translate a program written in a high level language, that means the language we write on our computer, into the machine language or the code. Got it? So this was the basic understanding of computer language. Now we will be learning about the basic. What is the basic? Basic is a programming language, that means using basic we instruct the computer to do any work. Okay, so basic is an easy to understand, it is a high level language used by the beginners. Okay, why it is called high level language? Because because it uses English language. Okay, and it was developed by John G. Kearney and Thomas E. Courage in 1963. So basic is very much easy to understand in spite of a programming language, because it uses simple English language. Okay, got it? The full form of basic is beginners all purpose symbolic instruction code. Got it? Okay, so what is the full form of basic? The full form of basic is beginners all purpose symbolic instruction code. Okay, go to the next slide. Now comes to the point, that is QBasic. So QBasic is the popular version of basic. There are so many popular versions of basic: GW basic, Visual basic, and one of the is QBasic. So in this lesson we will learn about the QBasic. Okay, so first of all we will learn about the full form of QBasic. So it stands for Quick Beginners All Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. Okay, next point is it was developed by Microsoft. Okay, got it? Now go to the next slide. Now, okay, so before that we have to know about the window of QBasic. Okay, so here to start QBasic, click on the qbasic.exe or qb.exe file in your computer. Okay, so it is okay, so the executable file is qbasic.exe or qb.exe. Okay, got it? So to start QBasic, click on the qbasic.exe or qb.exe file in your computer. Then a blue background appears and displays a dialog box with a welcome message. Okay, so then press the escape key and you will have the main QBasic window to write any program like that. Okay, this type of window. Okay, so it is the basic, or you can say that it is the QBasic window. So the QBasic window has the following components. Number one is menu bar, then title bar, then program area and status bar. Okay, so I am now locating all these components on this window. So the menu bar, so we know what is menu bar. It has menus such as file, edit, view, search, run, debug and options. Each menu has several commands that help you to create, edit and run the programs. So the menu bar is the bar that has the menu. Okay, so here the menu bar is, this bar is known as the menu bar. Okay, it has the menu. Okay, next is title bar. The bar that displays the name of the current program is known as the title bar. So here the title bar here is untitled, as we don't have any title in the program. So here the default title name is untitled. Okay, so this is the title bar. Got it? Next part is program area. This is the area, sorry. So this is the area where we have to write the program or we have to type the program. Okay, this area is known as the program area, blue screen area. And the last part is status bar. We know the status bar is present at the bottom of the screen. So here the status bar is here. This bar is known as the status bar. F1 is help, then removes currently loaded file from memory. Okay, so the bottom bar of the screen is known as the status bar. It displays a list of shortcut keys for frequently used commands. Frequently used command means the commands which we used frequently. Okay, and the current position of the cursor is displayed on the right side of the status bar. That means here. Okay, at the right corner. Got it? Okay, got it. Now the next part is how to create a new program in QBasic. To know how to create the new program in QBasic, we are having a simple example. Let us create a program to display hello students on the screen. To create a new program, we have to follow the steps. Number one, click on the new, here it is new. Okay, under file, here is the file tab. Okay, on the menu bar, we know this is the menu bar. So the first step is click on the new under file on the menu bar. Number two is type the program statement in the program area. In this case, the program statement is print hello students. So if you want to write any program, just use your keyboard and write print your statements whatever you want to print on this blue screen, on this blue screen. Okay, got it? Then after completing the program, that means after writing the program, click on the run button here. If you click on the run button, then you will have the option start. Okay, so if you want to start the run, then click on the run and then click on the start. Okay, click on the run tab, or you can directly use the shortcut key, that is shift plus F5. You can use both of them, okay, to execute the program. Okay, so the output screen will be black colored. Okay, so on the output screen you will have the output. Okay, then press any key on the keyboard to return to the screen where the program was typed. Got it? I think it is clear to you. Okay, now if you want to save a program, we are now discussing about the saving a program. So if you want to save a program in QBasic, click on the save under file. The save as dialog box appears like that. Okay, so this is the save as dialog box. Okay, so here you have to put the name here, and also you have to put the extension .bas, as it is the basic program, so you have to put the extension .bas. If you want to open the save program, then we have to click on the open under file, then the open dialog box appears, choose the file name and then click on the OK. Okay, got it? So here the tips are, if you want to execute a program, either you can press on this run tab, otherwise you can directly use shift plus F5 to run or execute the program. Okay, next point is to save changes in an existing program, click on the save option under the file menu. Here it is, save option under the file menu. Okay, got it? So save as is used when you are saving the file for the first time, and if you want to save any changes in an existing program, then click on the save option under the file menu. To exit from the QBasic, click on the exit under the file menu here. Okay, if you click on this, then you will be out of the QBasic program. Okay, go to the next slide. Now we will be learning about the elements of QBasic. What are the elements of QBasic? Actually, every language has some rules of grammar, syntax and spelling. Similarly, a programming language has some basic elements that are used for writing a program. The elements of any programming language consist of, number 1 is character set, number 2 keywords, then constants, then variables, then operators, and last statements. Okay, so now we will be talking about one by one. Okay, so we are talking about all these points one by one. Number 1 is character set. A set of symbols used to write in a programming language is called character set. The character set in QBasic consists of the following symbols. Number 1 is numbers like 0 to 9, then letters, you can use capital letter as well as small letters also. Okay, and the special characters like plus, minus, multiplication sign, division sign, okay, hash sign, dollar sign, okay, arrow, angular arrow. So all these are the set of symbols. Then keywords. Keywords are the reserved words in any language. Okay, so these words are the words that already have a defined function or use in QBasic. For example, if you want to print any text, we use in QBasic print statement. Okay, so print statement or print word is a reserved word in QBasic. Okay, got it? Next point is constants. Next point is constants. A constant is a data or value that does not change. There are two types of constants. One is numeric constants, another one string constants. One is numeric constants, another one is string, string, string constants. So numeric constants are positive or negative numbers with or without decimals. For example, 7, 9, 4, 6.5, 8.5, okay. And string constants are a group of characters enclosed within a double quotes. For example, if we write B H A R A T Bharat. So if we want to print this text, we have to write this text in between double inverted comma. So basically a string constant is a group of characters. Here all the characters are there, B H A R A T. Okay, so it is a set of characters. Okay, here you should remember one point, that blank spaces can also be included in a string constant. Okay, next point is variable. So listen very carefully when we are talking about variable. Okay, actually variable is a name given to an memory location that contains a value. A variable can contain any value. The value stored in a variable is not fixed. There are two types of variables. Okay, one is numerical variables, another one is string variables. Okay, so in our computer programming, whenever you want to use any number, at first we have to keep this number in a memory location. Okay, so here we will giving a name to this memory location. Okay, suppose 7, we want to store this 7 in a variable. So how to write it? A equal to 7. That means A is the variable here that stores the value 7. Got it? So A defines a memory location where 7 is stored. Okay, so if you think about this, suppose this is a memory location in computer and 7 is stored there. So the name of the memory location is A. Got it? Okay, so here A is the variable. Okay, so what is numeric variables? Numeric variables store numeric data. Already we have talked about it. So if we write x is equal to 7, that means this x is a numeric variable as it holds numeric value. Got it? So you can give any name, we can give any name to the variable like a equal to 7, c equal to 7 or anything. Okay, now it is string variables. String variables store string constants. For example, if we want to contain or hold a value in the variable, then we have to write a and then dollar sign, then inside the double quote write QBasic. Okay, so it is the string. Okay, it is a set of characters. So if you want to hold or store a string inside a variable, then the variable must be a string variable. Okay, so look at the difference. When we are talking about the numeric variables, suppose x is equal to 7, but whenever we are talking about string variables, it uses a dollar sign extra with the main variable, and here and inside the double quote we have to write the text. Got it? Here is the difference. So a string variable name is similar to a numeric variable, except that a string variable name always ends with the dollar sign. This sign is known as the dollar sign. Okay. So what are the rules for naming a variable in QBasic? There are certain rules that must be followed while naming a variable in QBasic. Number one is a variable should start with a letter. Okay. Number two, it can consist of only letters, numeric digits, and the underscore sign. Underscore sign means this sign. Okay. Number three is it may contain digits such as 1, 2, 3, but not at the starting position. Okay, because we know a variable should start with a letter. Got it? Number 4 point. It must not contain any special characters such as percentage sign, hash sign, and asterisk sign. Okay. Next point is it must not contain blank spaces. Next point, it should not be a keyword such as print, rem, input, and so on. And last point is string variable names must end with the dollar sign. Okay. So if we talk about the variable name, suppose I am writing here num1. Is it right variable or a valid variable? Yes, it is a valid variable because it holds all the rules for the variables. Okay. Next, if I take SALES, sales, is it a valid variable name? Yes, it is also a valid variable name. If I take PRINT as a variable name, is it valid? No, because print is a keyword in QBasic. So you have to remember all the times that we cannot use any keywords in our program as a variable. Suppose I am writing name and then dollar sign. Is it a valid? Yes, it is a valid because it is a string variable. Okay. If I write amount and then percentage sign, it is a valid variable name? No, because we cannot use any special characters in a variable name. Okay, got it? So I think it is clear. Next is operators. Operators are used to perform actions on variables and constants. There are three types of operators. Number one, relational operators. Number two, logical operators, and number three is the arithmetic operators. Okay, so number one is relational operators. So what is relational operators? Relational operators are used to compare two values. The output is either true or false, like equal sign or less than, greater than sign, greater than equal to, less than equal to, okay, or not equal to. This sign holds not equal to. Okay. Next is the logical operator. So the logical operators are used to combine relational expression. Okay. The three logical operators used in QBasic are AND, OR, and NOT. Okay. So here also the output is either true or false. Okay. So if I write A greater than B and B and B greater than, sorry, I'm writing B less than C, that means it is a condition where A greater than B, that means the value of A should be greater than the value of B, and also the value of B will be less than the value of C. When both conditions will satisfy, then it is known as the AND condition. Okay. If I write here A greater than B or C greater than B, that means if any condition satisfies, then it will be true. Okay. And if I write not A greater than C, that means the value of A should not be greater than C. Okay, got it about the logic operators. Now the last operator is arithmetic operator. Already we know about the arithmetic operator: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and exponential. Okay, got it. And the last point is statements, QBasic statements. A program consists of statements. Statements are instructions or commands given to the computer to perform a task. In your first program, will be used print statement to print output on the screen. Okay, got it. So QBasic has different types of statements like end statements, let statements, CLS statements, input statements, and REM statements. That means REM. Okay, remark statements. So we will be learning about all these statements one by one. Okay. Okay, so these are the statements of QBasic. So first is print statement, then let statement, then end statement, then CLS statement, then RM statement, then input statement, and then input statement with prompts. Okay, so we'll be learning about all this one by one. So what is print statement? The print statement is used to print or display any text on the output. This output may be numbers, messages, and value of variable. Okay, got it. Next, let statement. The let statement is used to assign a value to a variable. For example, if we want to assign a variable with a number, that means value, we can write let a equal to 2. That means it assigns the value 2 to a variable a. Okay, got it. Or you can write let a dollar equal to basic. Okay, that means it assigns the value basic to a string variable, that is here a dollar. Okay, next is CLS statement. The CLS or clear screen statement clears the output screen. This statement is mostly used in the beginning of a program to clear the output of a previous program. Okay, next statement is REM statement. So the REM statement is used to write comments in a program. Anything written with the REM statement is ignored by the QBasic. The comments these comments helps the programmer write the purpose of the program and describe the variables used in the program. The comments are not displayed during the execution of any program. Okay, got it. Next statement is input statement. The purpose of input statement is to get one or more values from the user. When the program executes the input statement, it displays a question mark and waits for the user to type one or more values. If one variable follows input, the program expects only one value. If more than one variable follows input, the user must type the values separated by commas until each of the variable is assigned to a value. Got it? So we will be learning about all this with a simple example in the next slide. And then the last is input statement with prompts. If a user only sees only question mark on the output screen, he or she will have no idea what kind of or how many values to type. For this, you must prompt the user for values that they will type in response to the input. Okay, got it? So this is input statement with prompts. So we will be learning all this with the simple example in the next slide. Okay, thank you.